Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many of us have been there choosing a partner, hoping they'll fill that void, that need we feel deep inside? The truth is, we often make the mistake of thinking that the right partner will solve all our problems. But let me tell you something, no one can complete you. The only person who should complete you is you. The foundation of any healthy relationship starts with knowing your own worth. Before you look for a partner, you must first look at yourself in the mirror and recognize the unique value you bring to the table. You are not just someone looking for love. You are someone who has dreams, aspirations, and an undeniable essence that makes you, you. When you understand and embrace that, you no longer have to chase affection or validation. Knowing your worth means understanding that you deserve love, respect, and consideration, not because you are perfect, but because you are worthy of being treated with kindness and dignity. It's not about arrogance. It's about self-respect. It means setting boundaries and having the confidence to walk away when someone doesn't meet your standards. It's about knowing that being alone is better than being in the wrong relationship. You see, so often we're taught to seek approval from others, especially in relationships. We believe that our happiness is contingent upon someone else's love. But the truth is, happiness starts within. When you know your worth, you stop allowing people into your life who are only going to take from you without giving back. You stop making excuses for their behavior and stop accepting less than what you deserve. When you know your worth, you recognize that you bring something valuable to the world, and anyone who gets the chance to be with you should appreciate and honor that. Don't settle for someone who doesn't recognize your value. Your self-worth should not depend on the approval of another person, but on your own deep understanding of your own potential, your heart, and your soul. Knowing your worth means you're not afraid to be alone because you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not seeking someone to fill an emptiness because you've already filled that space with self-love, self-compassion, and self-empowerment. You realize that true love doesn't mean finding someone to complete you. It means finding someone who complements you, who adds to your happiness, and who encourages your growth. When you understand this, you can finally choose a partner from a place of strength, not desperation. In the fast-paced world we live in today, we are often conditioned to believe that time is of the essence. We rush through everything, our careers, our goals, and unfortunately, our relationships. The pressure to find the one, to settle down, and to make everything fall into place according to some timeline can be overwhelming. But here's the truth. Rushing love is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in your journey toward finding a meaningful and lasting relationship. Love is not something that can be hurried or forced. It is not something that can be scheduled or planned. The best relationships are built slowly, with patience and understanding, as each person takes the time to truly know themselves and their partner. When we rush into relationships out of fear of being alone, or the desire to meet societal expectations, we often overlook the most important aspect of love: getting to know one another deeply. Rushing into a relationship is like trying to sprint through a marathon. At first it may seem exciting, fast, and exhilarating, but eventually you run out of energy. You might find yourself making hasty decisions, ignoring red flags, or forcing yourself into situations that don't feel right. This can lead to frustration, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion. The foundation of a strong relationship is built on a deep connection, mutual respect, and understanding, none of which can be rushed. When we rush into relationships, we tend to skip over the essential steps of truly getting to know a person. We may be swept up by the excitement of the initial attraction, but the initial spark doesn't always reflect the depth of the connection. Often people rush into commitment without taking the necessary time to understand whether they are truly compatible on a deeper level. It's crucial to spend time discovering each other's values, beliefs, and life goals before committing to a future together. If you're moving too fast, you might miss these critical conversations that form the backbone of any successful relationship. Moreover, rushing a relationship often comes from a place of insecurity or loneliness. It can be easy to think that being in a relationship is better than being alone. But the reality is, rushing into a partnership out of fear of being alone rarely leads to fulfillment. You cannot expect someone else to fill the gaps that you haven't yet filled for yourself. Personal growth and emotional healing take time, and you can't skip those steps just because you're eager to move forward. If you don't first take the time to understand yourself and be comfortable with who you are, you'll find yourself relying on someone else to give you validation and approval. The right relationship will unfold in its own time. It won't be rushed. When you meet someone who truly compliments you, you won't feel the need to force things. Instead, you'll be able to take your time and explore the relationship at a pace that feels natural. There's no need to rush to meet milestones like "I love you" or "let's move in together" just because you feel it's expected. These things should come when both people are ready, when the foundation has been built on trust, communication, and genuine understanding. Patience is key. Take the time to build a solid foundation of friendship and trust. Learn each other's strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and fears. The best partnerships are the ones that have had time to grow and evolve. When you give a relationship the space and time it needs to flourish, you set yourself up for a much stronger and more fulfilling future together. When it comes to relationships, we often hear the phrase "red flags," and for good reason. These are the warning signs, the subtle, or sometimes not so subtle, signals that tell you something may not be right. However, in the excitement of new love or the desire to make a relationship work, it's easy to ignore or dismiss these red flags. We tell ourselves, maybe I'm overthinking it, or they'll change, or it's just a phase. But ignoring these warnings can cost you valuable time, emotional energy, and sometimes even your peace of mind. A red flag is essentially your inner alarm system going off, trying to protect you from potential harm. It's not always about something dramatic or extreme. It could be small actions, words, or behaviors that raise doubts or make you uncomfortable. What you need to understand is that these red flags are not insignificant, and they should not be ignored. They are your gut telling you something is off, and learning to trust that instinct is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships. One of the most common red flags is disrespectful behavior. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries, belittles your opinions, or makes you feel inferior, that is a serious issue. No relationship should be built on disrespect. And this kind of behavior, even in small doses, can escalate over time. It's easy to brush off a dismissive comment or a minor insult as a joke, but if the pattern continues, it's no longer an isolated incident. It's a warning sign that this person may not value you or your feelings. Another red flag is manipulation. Manipulative behavior often starts subtly and can be hard to identify at first. It might look like guilt tripping you into doing things you don't want to do, playing mind games, or making you feel responsible for their emotions. Manipulation can make you question your reality and ultimately control your actions. If someone makes you feel like you're always walking on eggshells, second-guessing your decisions, or compromising your values to avoid conflict, this is a red flag that should never be ignored. Lack of communication is another critical red flag. Healthy relationships thrive on open and honest communication. If your partner is unwilling or unable to talk about important issues, refuses to listen, or shuts down when you try to discuss feelings or concerns, you're heading into dangerous territory. Communication is the foundation that allows you to resolve conflicts, express your needs, and connect on a deeper level. Without it, a relationship cannot flourish, and misunderstandings can build up, causing tension and emotional distance. A pattern of dishonesty is a red flag that cannot be overlooked. Trust is one of the most essential aspects of any relationship, and if you find that your partner lies to you, even about small things, it can erode that trust. Dishonesty, whether it's telling half-truths, hiding important details, or outright lying, is a sign that something is wrong. Relationships built on lies are fragile and doomed to fall apart because trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. Another important red flag is emotional unavailability. If your partner is constantly avoiding deep emotional connections, pushing you away when you try to get closer, or seems detached, it may signal that they are not ready for a real relationship. Emotional availability is crucial for intimacy and connection. If someone is unwilling to open up or engage with you on a deeper level, this is a significant warning that they may not be capable of offering you the emotional support and connection that you deserve. Lastly, be wary of jealousy and possessiveness. While a little jealousy can sometimes feel like passion or affection, excessive jealousy can become controlling. A partner who constantly questions where you've been, who you've been with, or who you're talking to can become toxic. This type of behavior shows insecurity and an unhealthy desire to control you. A healthy relationship is built on mutual trust and respect for each other's individuality, not on trying to control or monitor each other's actions. Red flags are there for a reason. They are not random occurrences. They are signs that you need to stop, reflect, and evaluate whether this relationship is healthy for you. Too often, people ignore them, hoping they'll go away or believing they can fix the issues. But the reality is, the longer you ignore these red flags, the more difficult it becomes to see the full picture. Don't make the mistake of assuming things will improve on their own. Addressing red flags early on is not only a sign of self-respect, but a way to protect yourself from unnecessary heartache down the road. In every relationship, whether it's romantic, familial, or platonic, healthy communication is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Communication is more than just words. It's about understanding, connection, and respect. It's the tool that allows us to navigate through the ups and downs of life together. And without it, any relationship is bound to crumble. Too often we think of communication as merely talking or listening. But it's so much more than that. It's about creating an open, honest, and safe space for both people to express their thoughts, feelings, and needs. At its core, healthy communication is about honesty and transparency. When you're in a relationship, being truthful about your thoughts and emotions is essential. This means not just sharing the good, but also the uncomfortable, the vulnerable, and even the difficult truths. It's about having the courage to speak your mind, even if it's challenging or uncertain. Whether it's expressing your dreams and desires, revealing your insecurities, or addressing issues that have been bothering you, honesty ensures that both partners are truly seen and understood. Without it, misunderstandings will fester and assumptions will take root, creating emotional distance. However, honesty is not just about speaking up, it's also about active listening. Too often we're so focused on what we want to say next that we forget to truly listen. Active listening means giving your partner your full attention without distractions, showing empathy and trying to understand their point of view. It requires putting aside your own agenda, suspending judgment, and genuinely caring about the other person's thoughts and feelings. Listening with the intent to understand rather than respond makes the other person feel valued and respected. It opens the door for them to be more vulnerable and for the relationship to grow stronger. Another crucial aspect of healthy communication is nonverbal communication. Our words are only part of the message we convey to others. Body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even silence all communicate something. Nonverbal cues can either strengthen or undermine what's being said. For example, if you're telling your partner that everything is fine but your body is tense, your face is closed off, or your voice is sharp, your message becomes contradictory. Paying attention to these signals helps both partners gauge the true feelings behind the words and allows for more meaningful conversations. Healthy communication also involves emotional regulation. Emotions can be powerful, and sometimes they can take over, especially in heated moments. In these times, it's essential to regulate your emotions and communicate with respect rather than letting frustration, anger, or fear dictate your words. Yelling, name-calling, or shutting down during a disagreement only leads to further conflict and resentment. Healthy communication encourages both parties to express their emotions calmly and respectfully, even when the conversation is difficult. It's about creating a safe space where both people feel heard and respected, not attacked or belittled. Moreover, constructive feedback is an important part of communication. In any relationship, there will be moments of conflict or disagreement, but how you handle them determines the relationship's strength. Instead of using accusatory language or blaming your partner, a healthier approach is to focus on how you feel and what you need. For example, saying, "I feel hurt when you cancel plans at the last minute," is far more effective than "you never keep your promises." Framing feedback this way opens up a dialogue rather than starting a defensive battle. Constructive feedback fosters understanding, helping each person grow and adapt within the relationship. Effective communication also relies on timing and patience. Sometimes the right thing to say might need to be said at the right time. Trying to discuss a sensitive issue when either partner is stressed, tired, or distracted can lead to ineffective conversations. Recognizing when both people are ready for an honest discussion and taking the time to let things settle if needed allows for a more productive conversation. Patience is essential because understanding takes time and solutions don't always come quickly. Sometimes just letting your partner express their thoughts without interruption is what's needed most. Lastly, clarity is essential in communication. Often we assume that our partner knows what we mean or that they understand our needs without saying them explicitly. However, ambiguity can cause confusion, frustration, and unmet expectations. Clear, direct communication ensures that both people are on the same page. Whether it's sharing how you feel or discussing future plans, making sure that what you say is clear and well articulated reduces misunderstandings and creates a deeper connection between partners. In any relationship, no matter how deep the love, communication is the lifeblood that keeps everything flowing. Without healthy communication, even the best relationships will struggle because both people will feel disconnected, misunderstood, and unheard. Building and maintaining healthy communication takes effort, time, and a willingness to be vulnerable, but it is the only way to ensure that a relationship grows in a positive and meaningful direction. Emotional availability is the cornerstone of any deep and meaningful relationship. It refers to a person's ability to connect with others on an emotional level, to be open and vulnerable, and to engage in mutual emotional exchanges without fear, avoidance, or suppression. Without emotional availability, relationships become superficial and disconnected, often leading to frustration, loneliness, and heartache. Emotional availability is not just about being able to express feelings. It's about being able to recognize, understand, and respond to the emotions of both yourself and others in a healthy and supportive way. At the heart of emotional availability is vulnerability. To be emotionally available means to be willing to show your true self, to expose your fears, your insecurities, your hopes, and your dreams. It means allowing yourself to be seen, not just for what others want to see, but for who you truly are. Vulnerability can be frightening, especially if you've been hurt in the past or have built walls to protect yourself. However, it is the key to forming deep emotional bonds. If you're emotionally available, you allow your partner to do the same, fostering a sense of intimacy that brings the two of you closer. Another crucial component of emotional availability is emotional regulation. It's about being able to manage and respond to your emotions in a balanced way without letting them control your behavior or decisions. Emotional regulation is not about suppressing emotions, but rather about recognizing what you're feeling and responding to it in a constructive way. For instance, if you're feeling anger or frustration, emotional availability means understanding that emotion and finding a way to express it without lashing out. It also means recognizing when your partner is upset and responding to their feelings with empathy, patience, and understanding. Emotional maturity is closely tied to emotional availability. Being emotionally available means being able to navigate and understand complex emotions, both your own and those of others. It involves having the emotional intelligence to identify the underlying causes of your feelings, being able to reflect on them, and choosing how to express them in a way that encourages positive communication. Emotional maturity allows you to handle conflicts without resorting to unhealthy patterns like avoidance, aggression, or passive aggressiveness. It's about taking responsibility for your feelings and actions and being willing to grow and learn from difficult situations. Being emotionally available also means being present. In today's world, it's easy to get distracted by technology, work, or simply the busyness of life. But emotional availability requires you to be present in the moment, both physically and emotionally when you're with your partner. This means putting down your phone, turning off distractions, and truly engaging in the conversation or experience. It's about giving your full attention to the person in front of you, acknowledging their feelings, and offering your support. Being emotionally available means that you're there for your partner, not just in the good times, but also when things are tough. Additionally, willingness to be vulnerable involves letting go of past emotional baggage. Many people struggle with emotional availability because they are still holding on to past hurts or unresolved issues. Whether it's a past breakup, childhood trauma, or previous relationship disappointments, unresolved emotional baggage can prevent a person from fully connecting with their partner. Emotional availability requires you to work through your past and be willing to engage with others in a healthy, open way. It means confronting your fears, acknowledging your pain, and choosing to move forward without allowing the past to dictate how you relate to others. For both individuals in a relationship to be emotionally available, there must be a safe space for emotional expression. When one person is emotionally unavailable, it can create an imbalance where one partner feels disconnected, unsupported, or even neglected. Emotional availability requires both partners to create an environment where they feel free to express their feelings without fear of judgment or rejection. This doesn't mean that every emotional moment will be perfectly smooth, but it means that both people have agreed to support each other through vulnerability and emotional exchange. Emotional availability is not something that can be forced or rushed. It develops over time as individuals learn to trust themselves and their partner, and it's something that requires ongoing effort. It's important to recognize that being emotionally available doesn't mean being an emotional caretaker for your partner or constantly prioritizing your feelings over your own. It's about balance, recognizing and honoring both your own emotions and your partner's needs. When both partners are emotionally available, the relationship can grow on a deeper level. They can communicate openly about their desires, fears, and dreams, knowing they will be met with understanding and support. Emotional availability fosters not just connection, but growth, intimacy, and a sense of security. In the absence of it, however, relationships can quickly become stagnant, disconnected, or fraught with unresolved tension and unmet needs. Emotional availability is the bedrock upon which healthy, loving, and fulfilling relationships are built. In relationships, one of the most important things to understand is the distinction between partnership and possession. Far too often, people enter relationships with the mindset that their partner belongs to them, and this belief can lead to unhealthy patterns of control, dependency, and dissatisfaction. True love and respect in a relationship come from recognizing that a relationship is a partnership, not a possession. This mindset shift is essential for building a healthy, fulfilling connection with someone. A partnership is founded on mutual respect and shared goals. It's about two individuals coming together, each with their own identity, strengths, and desires, and deciding to work together to build something greater than themselves. In a partnership, both people have equal input and influence, and they support each other in their personal and collective journeys. The relationship isn't about one person having power or control over the other. Instead, it's about collaboration, compromise, and shared responsibility. Each person in the partnership is encouraged to grow, pursue their passions, and become the best version of themselves, knowing that the other person will provide support and encouragement along the way. Possession, on the other hand, is rooted in control and ownership. When someone treats their partner as a possession, they are more likely to feel entitled to their partner's time, attention, and energy, often disregarding the other person's needs, boundaries, and independence. This can lead to feelings of resentment, suffocation, and frustration. In a possessive relationship, one person might try to control where their partner goes, who they spend time with, or even how they express themselves. The other person becomes more of an object than an equal, and their autonomy is stifled. Possession can also manifest as jealousy and insecurity, where the fear of losing the partner causes one person to act out in unhealthy ways. In a true partnership, individuality is celebrated. Each person brings something unique to the relationship, and that uniqueness is what strengthens the bond. Instead of trying to mold each other into what they want or need, partners in a healthy relationship embrace each other's differences. They understand that their partner is a separate person with their own history, dreams, and aspirations, and they respect that autonomy. Rather than trying to control their partner's choices, they support them in making decisions that are best for their own well-being and growth. In a possessive relationship, boundaries are often blurred or ignored. The idea of boundaries, personal, emotional, or physical, can be difficult to navigate in a possessive dynamic because one person may feel entitled to cross them, disregarding the other's needs or comfort. Boundaries, however, are essential in any healthy partnership. They allow both people to maintain their sense of self while remaining connected. Setting and respecting boundaries is a way of acknowledging each other's individuality and creating space for both partners to thrive, both within the relationship and in their own lives. A partnership also requires trust and communication. Trust is the foundation upon which the entire relationship is built. In a partnership, both individuals trust each other to make decisions, to respect one another's feelings, and to communicate openly and honestly. When trust is mutual, each person can feel secure and confident in the relationship, knowing that they are valued for who they are and not for what they can provide or control. Communication is key to ensuring that both partners are on the same page, that their needs are being met, and that misunderstandings are cleared up before they escalate. In a possessive relationship, however, communication often breaks down, as one person may withhold information or manipulate the conversation to maintain control.